So with the NBA Finals airing at 9 o'clock Eastern between the Bucks and the Suns, I have come to make a video about 5 of the greatest individual playoff runs in NBA history. Before I get started with this video, I'm finna say this, that there's gonna be no LeBron James in 2018 and no Allen Iverson in 2001 because those guys didn't win the championship, obviously. I'm finna be talking about the 5 guys that led their team to a championship as the lone star and had one of the greatest performances that I have ever seen and a lot of people seen in NBA history. So before I get started with this video, make sure I like, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell for notifications, make sure you follow me on Instagram, links down below in the description box. And let's get started with this video about the first player. And going to number 5, we got 2003 Tim Duncan. So I know a lot of people gonna say, what the hell is Tim Duncan doing on here? Then he had Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili and also David Robinson. But let me say this was before Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker were stars, and David Robinson was at the tail end of his career. And then coming into this season, people really thought that the 1999 Spurs championship run was a fluke. They said they had an asterisk to that ring because it was a lockout shortened year and they had to face the 8th seeded New York Knicks. And when Duncan heard that shit, he went to work, as Tim Duncan against the Lakers dominated, especially against Shaq and Kobe, who won the previous 3 straight NBA championships. And Tim Duncan dominated the Lakers in 6 games and heavily outplayed Shaq, as Duncan averaged 28 points and they beat the Lakers in 6 and they dominated them in game 6, beating them by 28 points. And when we go to the conference finals against the Dallas Mavericks, where I know a lot of people are going to talk about Dirk Nowitzki's injury, but the Mavericks, they were still up in game 6 and that looked like a winnable game because they were up by like 25 points I believe. But Tim Duncan, he still went out there and averaged 28 points, 6 assists and over 11 rebounds and 3 blocks and shooting 57% from the field. So we can't take away Tim Duncan's performance in that series, and he obviously outplayed Dirk anyways. Then when we go to 2003 NBA Finals, Tim Duncan saved his best for last, because Tim Duncan, man, in game 6 put up one of the most ridiculous stat lines in NBA history, as this man had 21 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists, and 8 blocks. He almost recorded a quadruple double. Arguably, he kind of had a quadruple double, but the stat guys didn't keep up with the stats, so they missed 2 of his blocks. But Tim Duncan still put up crazy numbers, and throughout the whole series, Tim Duncan averaged 24 points, 17 rebounds, and 5 assists, and 5 blocks, and did it on 50% shooting from the field. So Tim Duncan putting up those type of numbers, and it's absolute travesty that Tim Duncan never won Defensive Player of the Year, and he put up those type of numbers. Nearly recorded a quadruple double in a closeout game, and he averaged 5 blocks per game. He was playing defense and offense on both sides of the ball. Like, he was playing on both sides of the ball, and he was the lone star on his team. But going into number 4, we got 1993 Michael Jordan. Now, I know a lot of people gonna say, especially LeBron fans, including myself, that Jordan has Scottie Pippen, but in 1993, Jordan kind of did carry, to be honest, because sure, he had Scottie Pippen, but Michael Jordan was on a whole nother level in 1993, because coming into 1993, the Bulls, they had their share of struggles as they won 57 games, which wasn't bad or nothing, but it was the lowest in the Michael Jordan era, as people really thought, can the Bulls do it again? Can they three-peat? And people really thought that they could get the throne, because the New York Knicks were the top dogs in the East that year, as they won 60 games led by Patrick Ewing, and people really thought that the New York Knicks couldn't beat the Chicago Bulls and advance the NBA Finals and beat the Phoenix Suns, or the Suns can beat them. But when Jordan heard all that, he went to absolute work, as Jordan throughout the whole playoffs averaged 35 points, 6 assists, and 7 rebounds, and did it on 48% shooting from the field and 39% from 3. As Jordan obviously put up great numbers because, well, he's Michael Jordan. But when we go to the finals, man, whoo-wee, the NBA Finals was crazy, as Jordan averaged 41 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and did it on 51% shooting from the field and 40% from 3. And sure, he did shoot below 70% from the free throw line, but Jordan averaged 41 points per game. 41 points per game. That is an NBA record that still holds today, as this man went out there and dropped 55 points in one game and multiple 40-point games against the Phoenix Suns, who were a top 10 defense in the league. And Jordan, he was like, I don't give a fuck what type of defense you got. I'm still going out there and being the GOAT. But moving on to number 3, we got 2006 Dwyane Wade. As Dwyane Wade in 2006, in his 3rd year, alongside Shaq and a couple of other role players, as the Miami Heat kind of struggled throughout the regular season as they won 52 games. But they were still heavily contenders in the East, but just behind the Detroit Pistons. But in 2006, Dwyane Wade was a man possessed, especially at the age of 24, because Dwyane Wade, he put up great numbers in that series, and not just the NBA Finals, but throughout the whole playoffs. Because Dwyane Wade, in his 3rd year, alongside Shaq, they went to work and they shut all the critics up, as throughout the whole playoffs, D-Wade averaged 28 points and did it on 50% shooting from the field and 39% from 3, and also shot 81% from the free throw line. But when we go to the NBA Finals, man, Dwyane Wade was on an all-time great level, because D-Wade in the NBA Finals, he was just built different, man. Because I know a lot of people want to call this series rigged and the Mavericks were robbed and Dwyane Wade had so many free throws, blah, blah, blah. But the Mavericks, they were still up on the Miami Heat. They were still up 2-0, and the Mavericks, they kind of did have some winnable games against the Miami Heat. But Dwyane Wade, he said, fuck it, I'm going to take over, because I'm not letting my team go out like that. As D-Wade in the finals averaged 35 points and shot 47% from the field, and he obviously won the finals MVP at the age of 24 years old. Now, I know a lot of people going to say he had Shaq, but Shaq didn't really do much in that series. So it was on the shoulders of a 24-year-old Dwyane Wade, and he got the job done. And that's why Dwyane Wade is better than James Harden. But moving on to number 2, we got 2011 Dirk Nowitzki. And before 2011, Dirk was labeled as a choker, as a guy that can't show up in the biggest moments, especially in 2006 where he lost to the Miami Heat, like I said, and he missed a key free throw that would have won them the game. Then in 2007, he lost to an 8th seed, and he obviously choked. Then they just gave up on the Mavericks. And in 2011, people didn't see the Mavericks as legit contenders, as you had the Lakers, the 2-time defending champs, the Miami Heat's big 3. You also could slide in the Boston Celtics, and people didn't expect the Mavericks to be in this position, as in the playoffs, they beat the Portland Trail Blazers in 6 games led by Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge. And then in the second round, they literally swept the 2-time defending champs Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, they swept them. A clean sweep, like bye-bye. And then in the conference finals, they went up against a young Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, and they easily beat them in 5 games, as the Thunder, they weren't that experienced enough, and the Mavericks were going to win that series anyways. I have them winning in the first place. And then in the Mavericks, they punched their ticket to the NBA Finals, and they met up against a familiar foe, this time with a new team led by LeBron James and Chris Bosh and Dwyane Wade, the new Miami Heat Big 3. and Dirk Nowitzki came in that series ill and sick, made fun of by LeBron and D Wade. And Dirk Nowitzki, sure, he didn't put up the best of numbers, but he still went out there and beat the Miami Heat Big Three and secured his first championship, and the Mavericks his first championship in franchise history. So what Dirk did was remarkable, man, because people did not expect the Mavericks to be in that position, because people literally gave up on the Mavericks. And if Dirk would have never won that title in 2011, people would have called him a choker, and he probably would have had a similar career to Karl Malone, a guy that couldn't get the job done in the biggest of moments, and he always fails, especially when his team needs him the most to step up. But Dirk came through, beat the Thunder, beat the Lakers, beat the Blazers, and then he beat the Miami Heat's Big Three. And then moving on to our final player, we got 1995 Hakeem Olajuwon. So Hakeem Olajuwon, man, one of the most underrated players that I have ever seen. And in 1995, the Rockets, man, they were a hot ass mess, because after winning the championship in 1994, in 1995, people kind of had the Rockets winning the championship again, since Michael Jordan left to go play baseball, and Hakeem Olajuwon was the best player in the league at that time. But in 1995, the Rockets, man, they were not looking good, even with the addition of Clyde Drexler. And Clyde Drexler was kind of getting up there with age, so he wasn't really helping that much. And people really thought that the Rockets were going to be a first-round exit, because there was other contenders like David Robinson, John Stockton, and Karl Malone. He also had the Phoenix Suns with Charles Barkley. But Hakeem heard all this, and he went to absolute work. As Hakeem Olajuwon against the Utah Jazz, he beat them in the first round, as the Jazz won over 50 games. And then in the second round, they faced off against the Phoenix Suns, who won 59 games. And people really thought that the Suns were going to dismantle them, but that didn't happen, as the Suns, they were up 3-1, but the Rockets, they came back from a 3-1 deficit and beat the Suns in 7 on their home floor. And then we go to the Western Conference Finals, where Hakeem was matched up against David Robinson, who was the MVP of the league. And then when we go to the finals, Hakeem Olajuwon and Shaq were going at it. But Hakeem Olajuwon still went out there in the playoffs and averaged 33 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and over 10 rebounds, shooting 48% from the field. And Hakeem Olajuwon was doing everything on both sides of the ball. He was blocking shots, getting steals, especially at his position, and he was scoring the ball. No wonder why he's all-time leader in blocks, man. And that's why I got Hakeem Olajuwon as the top 10 player of all time. Because Hakeem, in 2 straight years, with the talent that he had on his roster, and he led them to 2 straight NBA championships, I gotta say, man, Hakeem Olajuwon's 1995 run was one of the most impressive runs that I have ever seen. But that includes this video. Make sure, what y'all think about this video? Who else did I miss? Make sure y'all comment down below. Make sure y'all stay safe and stay healthy, y'all. This your boy Lil Trey D signing out. Wash your hands, wear a mask. Peace.